one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, man, you do something about it, because you can.
This story comes to us from The Repository, where the Canton, Ohio Police Department is reviewing the actions of an officer who kicked a suspect in the chest while he was kneeling on the ground during an arrest Saturday of last week.
Tonight, outrage over this jaw-dropping video of an Ohio police officer kicking a kneeling man who appeared to be complying with their orders.
Oh! That cop still got out the car, ran to him, and drop-kicked him. Who does that? If I were to do that to you or anybody else, I'd be in jail.
Now, in a press release issued on Monday afternoon, the department said it was aware of a 24-second video circulating on social media involving an arrest on Morris Avenue Northeast in which a person was kicked by a police officer. Police Chief John Gabbard said in a prepared statement that the department's police officers, listen, he's going to turn it a little bit here, they frequently face stressful, dangerous situations and confrontations with armed suspects. Their dedication to the community has resulted in exceptional reductions in violence, especially gun violence, over the past 2 years. Crime reduction and public safety is only part of our mission, which cannot be fully realized without consideration of the effect we have on our community. In short, how we do our job is as important as the results of our efforts. Officers using force outside the parameters of our training, policy, and principles will be held accountable. Now, police gave this account of that incident. At around 8:30 p.m., a citizen reported an argument involving 10 to 15 people in the 1800 block of Morris Avenue. Several officers responded, including detectives from the coordinated response team who had received intelligence related to gun violence in the Mahoning Manor townhouse complex, which is owned by Stark Metropolitan Housing Authority. Now, when they arrived, multiple people fled and arriving officers chased them. One suspect carried a gun that was plainly visible to the pursuing officer. The pursuit was discontinued without apprehension. Even the guy with a gun, officers responding to the 1800 block found multiple additional suspects. Quote, officers ordered the suspects to the ground and they appeared to be complying when Officer Brandon Momaroff kicked a 21-year-old man in the chest, according to the press release. Now, arrested during that incident was the 21-year-old and two other men, ages 32 and 30. Officers recovered 2 Glock 9mm pistols, a backpack containing a large amount of marijuana, currency, and scales, and they were found in a nearby vehicle. According to police records, Momaroff has been an officer for 8 years. Listen to this. He began working part-time with the Brewster Police Department in 2015, then was hired full-time with the Stark County Sheriff's Office in 2016, where he worked for 4 years. Momaroff was then hired full-time by the Canton, Ohio Police Department in 2020, but resigned in July of the next year. Canton Civil Service Commission reinstated him in June the following year after Gabbard and Safety Director Andrea Perry told the commission that Momaroff had previously left the city on good terms due to family reasons. They noted he had been a good employee and was fully trained according to the Civil Service Commission's meeting minutes. Fully trained in what? Kicking people? Attorney Bobby DiCello, who is representing the 21-year-old, said in a statement that the man's family is sickened by the senseless and cruel acts of violence.
The video demonstrates unequivocally that he's on his knees, his hands are in the air, and then he's kicked in the head.
DiCello says his client, who was hospitalized, is still dealing with the aftermath.
Jameer is traumatized.
He says that, Bobby, it is time for the city of Canton to wake up and realize that its police department is attacking its own citizens and treating them as enemy combatants rather than citizens. He said, we remain committed to holding these officers accountable. Now, during Monday's Canton City Council meeting, Councilman William V. Scherer called the officer's behavior unacceptable. He says, "You've heard me say on more than one occasion that we can do better, and I'm tired of saying it." He goes on, "It's about action. This behavior is not acceptable and will not be tolerated by any department in the city, including Canton Police Department. This will be handled." Yeah. Canton residents, many of whom previously have called for police reform, told Scherer and the city council on Monday that they are tired of the lip service and want action. They said, "We already gave the chief, safety director, and the mayor an opportunity to fix what's going on in the city, and they have failed us numerous times. We hear the same speech over and over, how you guys are sick of it, but we're the ones facing it," says Charlotte Jones. Now, city police have been involved in several high-profile incidents with the residents over the last few years. A police officer shot through a wooden fence and killed James Williams in January of 2022 while he was firing a Ruger 556 rifle into the air to celebrate New Year. I remember that. I did an editorial on that one. Jeffrey Neff was shot and killed during a foot chase when Neff fired a gun at officers in June of 2023. Well, if he fired a gun at them. Zachary Fornash, who was carrying a pellet gun, was shot and killed in December of 2023. Here's the one we just did. Frank Tyson died after being placed face down on the ground during his arrest in April. And a canine officer allowed a police dog to attack a man who was lying on the ground with his hands behind his back in May. An incident also captured on video and shared on social media. We've seen these. I did the video on Frank Tyson. Daniel Gates of Canton recounted multiple encounters with officers, including one on Sunday where he said an officer pulled out his gun while questioning him about a crime he didn't commit. He said, "I'm tired of the brutality, I'm tired of the violence, and I'm tired of not having peace. We are guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But I'm not pursuing happiness because every time I walk out the door, the police are coming for me. They're coming for my people." Now, Monique Connor, interim president of the National Action Network chapter, serving Stark and Summit counties, called on city leaders to negotiate with the Canton Police Union so the city can stop paying officers who are under investigation for misconduct against a citizen. She also recommended the city establish a review board with a civil rights organization representative to review complaints and use the police department's funds or insurance to pay for any civil settlements or court judgments due to an officer's misconduct. She says, "We hear your words, but words without action are just words that don't even sound or look good to us at all." Thomas West, president of the Stark County Urban League, reiterated his recommendations for a police review commission and for better implicit bias training for officers. The former Canton councilman said he understands his former colleagues' reluctance to take action while investigations and lawsuits are ongoing, but he said they need to show the community that they are listening. He said it's time for them to step up and do something that's going to be meaningful and impactful for our community, because right now a lot of the community feels under siege. He goes on, "We feel like these officers don't even care about us." Well, a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. They're collecting a paycheck and they get to do whatever they want. They get to bully people. They get to carry a gun. They even get to shoot it from time to time. And if they get sued, well, it's not their money. It's the city's money. The taxpayers are paying the city. I mean, the Frank Tyson one in and of itself, where they're standing around joking, "I always wanted to be in a bar fight. Does this count?" That's what the officer said on video. I did the editorial of it just a week or so ago. I did an update on it, where they ruled it a homicide. by Canton police officers. And here this Momorov, he walks up and kicks this guy in the chest while he's on his knees. What's going to happen to him? Well, it was justified because we found a Glock. Well, was it a Glock 19 or a Glock 21? How dangerous is that Glock? You know, of course I'm being facetious and sarcastic, but it's time to do something. Canton, Ohio. I don't even live in Canton. But you know what upsets me about this? It's not a Canton, Ohio issue. It's a United States law enforcement issue. It's happening from Washington State to Florida, from New York to California, and all the geographical area in between those points. And it's time to do something. I'm not talking about violence. I'm not talking about hurting cops. I'm not talking about, killing cops. I'm not talking about any of that. I don't know how to word it. I'm not talking about, taking action of violence. I'm talking about it's time to start getting rid of these bad cops. And that includes cops that don't intervene. You're a bad cop too. You see your fellow cop doing something wrong and you go, you're a bad cop too. And these police chiefs and these sheriffs and all these leaders that are justifying it and saying, well, come on, man, we have a hard, tough job. Well, so does a surgeon, but he can't get pissed off and cut somebody's heart. He'll get sued for malpractice or worse. But a cop does it. It's part of the job, dude. It's time to do something. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not condoning or advocating for violence against law enforcement. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying it's time to take care, policy-wise, bureaucratically. It is time to take care of these bad cops and get them out. Stop justifying it. Stop going, well, he's been suspended for a week. Yeah, and then he comes back after a week and does it again. No, fire his ass. Send him down the road packing. Make him a security guard in front of Walmart or Target or somewhere. Some gas station in the Urban League. Stop letting them keep their law enforcement certifications.